Hi class, today we're in Chapter 6, Lesson 1, Using the Percent Proportion. Now what we're going to learn today is how to use the percent proportion to solve problems and how to apply the percent proportion to real-world problems. In a percent proportion, one ratio compares part of a quantity to the whole quantity. So we just know that it's just a piece over a total. The other ratio is equivalent to a percent written as a fraction with a denominator of 100. So we have to understand that percentages are considered a part, but it's always out of 100. And then whatever that numerator is that percentage. So for example, if I were to write 52 out of 100, the percentage would be 52%. And that only works with our denominator being 100. We first start with our proportion of part over whole equals percent over 100. The percent is the number with the percent sign. Part is the number with the word is, and whole is the number with the word of. And we know that part is a piece of a total. So a total would be considered the whole value. In our first example, we are going to be finding the percentage. So we have 12 is what percent of 16? So now in this case, we have the number 12, and we see that keyword is, which means it is the part. And then of 16, that's our whole, equals x, because we do not know the percentage, out of 100. So now the first thing we're going to do is use the cross product. So we have 16x equals 12 times 100. Then we go ahead and divide each side by 16 using our inverse operation. We know that 16 can go into 120 approximately 7 times. And we end up with 120 minus 12, or 112. That leaves us with 8, but now we realize we're going to have to add another 0, bring it down, and then 16 goes into 80 approximately 5 times. And we subtract and it terminates, so that's good. And that means our answer is x equals 75. So our percent is 75%. Go ahead and turn your notes over to the back side now. Now in example 2, we're going to find the part. So in this case, we want to know what number is 1.4% of 15. So the part is the numerator, 15 is my denominator, is my whole, equals 1.4 over 100. So we need to make sure that we do write down the 1.4 and we don't move any decimal points. So now in this case, we're going to use the cross product. We have 100 times x, which is 100x. And then we also have our 15 times 1.4. And that gets us 21. So we have 100x equals 21, then divide by 100. So we know that 21 is divided by 100, add our decimal, 2 zeros, and 100 goes into 21 0 times. And then 100 goes into 210 twice. Left over with 10, bring down our 0, and then 100 goes into 100 one time. So now in this case, we end up with our value as x equals 0.21 or 21 hundredths, and as our part out of our total. Now we have to understand why it's such a small number. It's because it is a part of the 15 total, And if you really think about it, 1.4%, that is a very small percentage, so we should end up with a very small value. Now, to find the whole, the way we would do this is very similar. We'd still use our proportion. So we have 225 is 36% of what number? So we are trying to find our whole. So that's where the word of comes from. So in this case, I'm going to put the 225 as my part, and then I'm looking for the whole, equals 36 over 100. Now we can use the cross product, so we have 36x equals 225 times 100, and that gives us 22,500. So now we can divide each side by 36. Now another way that we could have done this, we could have also reduced the fraction 36 over 100 and got that value and created another equivalent proportion. So in this case, 36 goes into 225. It goes in 6 times. So we have 225 divided by 36, and we're going to subtract 216. We're left over with 9, and we can bring down the 0. And 36 goes into 90, approximately 2 times. We subtract 72, and we're left with 18, bring down 0, and then 36 goes into 180 5 times. So we end up with our whole number as x equals 625. And always make sure that you go back and check your answer, and just know that in this case we do have to do the long division, but definitely go back and check your answer. We do notice that we also have our percent proportion formula that we can follow is over of equals percent over 100, or part over whole equals percent over 100. Now go ahead and do these got it problems on your own. We will check them in class.